Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Victoria Crime Stoppers looking for information on the 2002 murder of Gerald Samuel Hadley.
In a live picture here, Victoria is holding a public hearing on the 2024 fiscal year budget and tax rate proposal.
And the Katy ISD board approved a new policy requiring parental notification if students identify as transgender or non-binary.
All eyes are on Hurricane Idalia. Idalia right about here will likely be a Category 2 by tonight and will be rolling into Florida by tomorrow morning. All preparations and evacuations need to be done right about now. We're going to be on the dry side of this whole thing, so don't expect anything in terms of precipitation out of it, but we'll have the latest for you coming up in just a moment.
Hurricane Idalia is expected to make landfall as a major hurricane Wednesday morning in Tampa. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us. I'm James Munoz.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Around 2:45 this afternoon, an 18-wheeler going south on Main Street hit some power lines in front of a business. This in the 3800 block of North Main Street. Power was out for about 30 minutes. Traffic was redirected between Mockingbird and Westview. No reports of anyone hurt. Victoria City Council members are meeting right now on the proposed budget and tax rate for 2024.
It includes several capital improvement projects from street repairs to drainage and utility improvements. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick joins us live in downtown Victoria with more.
The City of Victoria plans to commit more resources to streets, public safety, and other important services for the next fiscal year while lowering tax rates by a historic amount. The proposed budget for the City of Victoria for the fiscal year 2024 includes $97.6 million for capital improvement projects like the new public safety headquarters. The city is recommending a property tax rate of 0.4898 cents per $100 property valuation, a decrease of 0.0684 cents or 13% from last year's tax rate. The public hearing and vote on the budget and tax rate is today. The meeting just started here at 5 p.m. A final public hearing and final vote is set for September 5th. The City Council meets here at 105 West 1 Lynn Street. Other key projects included in the budget are funding for the next 2024 bicentennial celebration, additional vehicles for first responders, and a master plan for the Victoria Community Center. Reporting live in Victoria, I'm Adarius McCormick, KAVU-TV 25 News Now.
Adarius, thank you. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, which capital improvement project do you approve of most? Is it public safety headquarters, street repairs, drainage, utility, LED lighting project? And we want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6.
Victoria Crime Stoppers is looking for information in the murder of Gerald Samuel Hadley on August 23, 2002. That's not the right photo. Let's come back out here. That's a separate case, Trey. Okay, so we'll just tell you about this. It is on crossroadstoday.com. So this was a murder, started as a beating on August 23rd, 2002 around 5:10 a.m. Victoria police responded to a convenience store in the 4400 block of North Navarro. The call came in as a man down by the dumpster. The man was identified as 63-year-old Gerald Samuel Hadley. Hadley was homeless and again severely beaten. Hadley died almost a year later on July 14th, 2003. He was in a coma during that time. So if you have any information, there's the number on your screen. All tips are anonymous, and if your tip leads to an arrest or charges filed, you could earn a cash reward.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is urging residents to take proper precautions ahead of Hurricane Idalia. The National Hurricane Center reports the hurricane is packing 85-mile-per-hour winds and potentially life-threatening storm surge. The hurricane is expected to rapidly intensify to a Category 3 storm before it makes landfall north of Tampa Wednesday morning. Evacuations are in effect in more than 20 counties. All 5,000 National Guard members in Florida are activated to assist local authorities.
All right, all eyes on Tampa, Florida, in that area. It looks like this will make landfall, Macasane Wednesday morning. So,
Well,
Mac, we're concerned about family and friends there.
absolutely. A lot of us have extended friendships or families there, and so we got to get ready because this is a direct hit of a major hurricane. It's going to be a Category 3 by tonight. It's a 2 right about now, so this is no laughing matter. The storm is going to continue strengthening tonight and then starts touching the coastline tomorrow morning at sunrise. So Wednesday, very early, you'll be seeing stories of the storm coming ashore from Tampa Bay all the way around to Apalachicola, Panama City, but even places like Tallahassee and on into Georgia are going to be affected by hurricane storm winds. So we'll be talking more about that and take a look at your forecast coming up in just a minute. Back to you, James.
Thanks. The man accused of animal cruelty in connection with the theft of 2 monkeys from the Dallas Zoo was found mentally incompetent to stand trial. 24-year-old Davion Irwin is also accused of cutting open a cage, allowing a leopard out. The incident happened in February. The monkeys were found in a closet in an abandoned house before they were safely returned to the zoo. Irwin was sent to get help in a hospital. The cases are now on hold. The Katy ISD approved a new policy requiring parental notification if students identify as transgender or non-binary. The policy also requires staff members tell parents if students want to change their name or use different pronouns at school. Teachers may also refuse a student's request. The policy bans teachers from sharing or teaching any information about gender fluidity. Those who oppose the policy say school is a safe space for children experiencing gender identity issues.
For a child to come to the decision that they may not be the gender in which they were born is a massive deal. That's huge. And that is a family issue. That is a parental issue.
Meanwhile, parents supporting the policy say they need to know this information about their children. The vote passed by a vote of 4-3 in favor of the policy. The Texas Tribune has a story about how lawmakers hope a new grant program will help rebuild the ranks of law enforcement in rural Texas. We have that story on crossroadstoday.com as well.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Straight ahead, an update to that shooting at a North Carolina university. A graduate student faces murder charges.
Also ahead, an endangered sea turtle found in northern Wales returns to Galveston.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking to identify a person of interest. The Victoria Police Department is requesting assistance in identifying a male subject described as an older white male, approximately in his 40s, wearing a red shirt, light-colored cargo shorts with a white mustache and beard. The male was driving an older model silver 4-door car. If you have any information about the identity of this person, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
The UNC Chapel Hill graduate student arrested in Monday's fatal shooting of a university faculty member faces first-degree murder charges. The 34-year-old is also charged with possession of a gun on an educational property. The suspect was apprehended in a residential neighborhood near campus after opening fire at the university's lab science building. His arrest warrant said he shot and killed an associate professor in the Applied Physical Sciences department. No other injuries were reported.
More powerful synthetics could fuel the U.S. opioid epidemic. They're called netazines and go by the street name Frankenstein. A new study by JAMA shows they could be 10 times stronger than fentanyl. It says patients who overdose on Frankenstein opioids often require 2 or more doses of naloxone to survive. Fentanyl overdoses usually need just 1. COVID-19 cases continue to climb here in the U.S.
But vaccines and immunity from prior infections have adjusted the way our bodies react to the virus that causes the disease.
As COVID-19 cases in the U.S. go up, the risk of hospitalization or death from the virus since the height of the pandemic has gone down. An estimated 97% of Americans either have some immunity from prior infection or through vaccination, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Still, new infections are happening every day and may be driven by people heading indoors and schools being back in session.
And that is usually what kicks off respiratory virus season. And that's where we are right now.
Health experts say the danger from COVID-19 is still there. CDC data shows about a 22% uptick in hospitalizations and deaths in the most recent week of data. Still, that's lower than in years past, and it's a large jump because cases were low before the uptick. But the threat of new variants remains. Scientists are keeping an eye on BA 2.86, which has been picked up in very low levels of U.S. wastewater, to see if it's more infectious or if it causes more severe disease.
There are several mutations which make it a candidate to watch for these things.
CDC advisors are expected to meet September 12th to discuss whether to recommend an updated COVID-19 booster.
What we anticipate is that the people that will be on the list encouraged to get it will be people who are older, people who are immunocompromised. Those will be the people that should be first in line to get it. And then we'll learn from CDC who's next on the list.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
Next month, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will release an endangered Kemp's Ridley sea turtle named Tally into the Gulf of Mexico. Tally was found near death by a dog walker on the shoreline on the north coast of Wales in November 2021. Before it's released, Tally will go to the Houston Zoo, where veterinarians will make sure it's healthy enough for the wild. Kemp's Ridley sea turtles are the smallest and one of the most endangered species of sea turtles in the world.
Well, good evening, everyone. We are looking at partly cloudy skies, but it belies the fact that it did get hot again today. As a matter of fact, while our temperature right now is 99, we managed to get up to 103 today. I mean, we're just doing triple digits all over the place. Guess what? Today, as of today, we have had 44 days this summer where we've had 100 degree plus, and we're closing in on the record number of 58. Because we still got September to deal with. We'll have more on your forecast and take a look at Idalia, all that coming up in a moment.
United States Army veteran Katherine Jones is your military hero for the month of August. She was born and raised in Bay City, Texas.
Bay City, Texas.
Bay City?
Yes, right down the road.
Katherine graduated from Bay City High School and at one point was a team manager for her school's basketball team.
Pretty average, I guess. Just kind of quiet, just kind of coasted along.
You said coast, which is funny because you're by the coast.
Yeah.
A year after graduating high school in 1998, she enlisted in the United States Army. Jones just happened to be at her cousin's house visiting when an Army recruiter stopped by to talk to her cousin, and Jones ended up being so interested that she enlisted.
The recruiter was there talking to my cousin. I was like, this seems kind of neat. So I listened to what he said, and he came back and he talked to me, and that's how the Army got me. The job I wanted, I think it was field artillery, but he said, you can't do that because it was for males only at the time. So he showed me some other stuff that I could do. So that's when I became a truck driver.
That rule has since been changed, and women in the Army can now do that job of a field artilleryman, or artillery woman, that is. Jones also has an aunt who served in the Navy, as well as her siblings who were in the Army. After enlistment, she was off to South Carolina for boot camp, something she said sucked.
It sucked.
Boot camp sucked?
Yes.
How come?
You didn't get any sleep. You were always walking, you were marching somewhere. You couldn't taste your food.
Her first duty station was in Hawaii, kind of made up for the boot camp. She would work with maps and things of that nature.
Before I was an 88 Mike, I was an engineer, a topographic engineer.
After Hawaii, she then went to Germany, so she got to see the world, doing things like the famous Stairway to Heaven hike in Hawaii.
I did a lot of traveling. I went to Oktoberfest. That was a good time.
She even met her best friend in the Army, who she talks to almost every day. After Germany, she went back to Hawaii and then would deploy to Iraq, where she would change her MOS or duty to a Army truck driver, a 88 Mike.
I drive trucks. I learned to drive on a heavy equipment operator. It picks up like 88, it picks up tanks and other heavy equipment in the Army. You just have to be a defensive driver and look out for everybody. You sit up high so you can see more around you, but you have to be cognizant of people beside you, in front of you, behind you. Sometimes people like to cut you off. So.
And I feel like that makes you a pretty good driver today.
I think I'm an okay driver.
One time she had to turn around because of an intense dust storm. The other stressful time she says she tries not to think about. She later served in Afghanistan, also during Iraqi freedom, before retiring in 2014. She returned to Victoria and still serves her community, working in a group home to help out individuals with things like their medication, bathing, dressing, and cooks for them. She's an avid reader as well. She just finished reading Deadly Affair.
I do a lot of reading. That's my hobby, reading and watching TV.
And her favorite show is Big Brother, so I had to introduce her to 25 News Now meteorologist Howie Gordon, who competed on 2 seasons of Big Brother.
Right now I'm watching Big Brother.
She's also got 2 cats named after Harry Potter characters and is a Star Wars fan.
Pick a side. I'll probably be with Darth Vader. Yeah, I want to be able to force choke people.
She's thankful for the military, saying it helped make her more assertive and gave her lifelong friends.
I made great friends in there, got to see the world, so it was good to me.
So thank you, Catherine, for your service to your country and community, and thank you to all the veterans and active duty service members out there. Adam Seibel, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got a hurricane headed toward Florida, and all we're going to get is sunny and hot conditions. And this has happened to me before and to all of us because, as I remember during Katrina and even, no, it was Ike that hit Galveston and then went up to East Texas. We had a hurricane in East Texas, and we're getting a north wind, making it very sunny and very warm and very dry as well. So not much happening in terms of precipitation, even though we did have some nice clouds out there. Most of the rain was actually down in the deep South Texas. So another observed highs right about here. You can see how 96 in Galveston, 102 in Port Lavaca, and 103 for us. So we continue with the triple digits. Only 2 days in this month of August have not been over 100 degrees. Here are the forecast highs for tomorrow as we continue, but of course the main event, or something that we're watching, is the arrival of the hurricane. Now here's a future tracker as where we expect it to go. Now as we go forward, you can see it move, and looks like somewhere along the Big Bend of Florida, and that would be at 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. So punchline is that the conditions, whatever they have right now, are going to go south real quick, and by sunrise they're going to be at hurricane conditions, and then it rolls up into Georgia through South Carolina and even North Carolina. That is Idalia. And of course the question is the wind speed. It looks like somewhere about 120 miles an hour, so there's going to be quite a bit of damage on that. Here's the weather hazards around our area, and you can see how Corpus Christi, San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas are lit up. What is it that we're looking at? Well, they're under air pollution advisories because the air is not strong enough, really. We don't have a good surface wind to blow the pollution away. So it sort of hangs there, and of course that's the worst thing can happen, because you may not realize that some of these pollutants are photoreactive. In other words, when they hit the sunlight, they break down into something else. And of course, they also mix with whatever moisture there is in there, and it starts to get your eyes and your throat and all that stuff. Meanwhile, all the Mardi Gras is going to be happening on the East Coast. And of course, this is a serious problem, but they're looking probably 120-mile-an-hour winds, and then more than likely, they're going to be getting in the range of 6 to 10 inches of rain as the thing moves across. Now, here's Tampa Bay. I think they're going to have a problem because of the arrival of that wind, but obviously the center of it is somewhere over here, and that is really just south of Tallahassee. So Tallahassee is going to get, even though it's not on the actual Gulf, because it'll still be a Category 1 when it gets to Valdosta. So you can see how it's got a very weird looking arc here that takes it back out. This is not the storm. That's actually Franklin, which is another hurricane that's actually churning around even as we speak. So let's take a look at your forecast. We are looking at sunny skies for tomorrow, getting up to 101 along the coast. So we have that north wind right about there. And then for those of you in Cuero, we're getting up to 101 as well, northeast winds. So we're going to be on the sunny, dry side for about 3 or 4 days. On Saturday, we start picking up some of that Gulf air, and hopefully we'll have a shot at a few clouds and maybe a few sprinkles beginning on Sunday. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. We'll toss it back to James and Karina.
Mac, thank you so much. Next, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, U.S. job openings fall below 9 million for the first time since March 2021. The Dow up 293, the S&P 500 adding 64, and the Nasdaq gaining 238. Oil up $1.10, closing at $81.20 a barrel. The number of available jobs in the U.S. has dropped for the third consecutive month. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports it's below 9 million for the first time since early 2021. Job openings fell to 8.8 million from 9.1 million in June. This imbalance between worker demand and supply could cause wages to go up.
A gallon of regular gas has risen to a new nationwide average of $3.82, about 60 cents higher than New Year's Day. Adding to the rise is oil production cuts from both Saudi Arabia and Russia, as well as overdue work on refineries in the U.S. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, one of Victoria's most well-known personalities got a big surprise at an appreciation breakfast today. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, just in the new track, this major hurricane set to slam into Florida and race up through several states. The student accused of shooting and killing a professor. And in New York City, what we've now learned about the mother and children found killed on the Upper West Side. Next.
Gary Moses is Victoria's #1 master of ceremonies, known for his presence at almost every event. He was surprised when he learned an appreciation breakfast he attended this morning wasn't for the Armstrong Mayflower employees, but for him.
I just love helping people. I love helping organizations, making people's day a little brighter. If I can come on and assist in some kind of way, I'm out there doing that. And it's a blessing to me, and I hope it's a blessing to others, because I'm very fortunate to do what I do, and I enjoy it immensely.
And the employees were all wearing Brother Gary Moses socks purchased by the president of Armstrong Mayflower from Mother Cluckers in downtown Victoria. Proceeds from the socks go toward a charity of the purchaser's choice. Armstrong Mayflower chose to give back to the Alzheimer's Association.
Go,
where are the socks?
Brother Gary Moses.
I don't know how Brother Moses keeps a calendar that's so tight of all the events.
You're right.
He's booked and
I
busy.
forget half the things I'm supposed to be at.
And I'll see him on the roadways, so he's always going.
He's always going.
He's always going. Booked and busy. He's Brother Moses.
Well, the big story tonight, of course, is that Idalia is going to be hitting the Florida coast tonight. By tomorrow, they're going to be looking at 120-mile-an-hour winds, so it's going to be a big deal. We're on the dry side of all this. We're not going to get anything. We're going to get just hot temperatures and low humidities for about 3 days before we finally get back to a southeast wind. So tomorrow, another 100-degree day. You've been through that before.
All right, Mac, thank you. Thank you for being with us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.